What's up, guys? Dry here, and today we are talking about Predator, Killer of Killers. Now, am I a little late to the party? Yes, absolutely, because I actually made a video about this last week, but with editing and the orientation of the camera came out all wonky, and so I'm redoing it. But for the most part, the take remains the same. Oh, also, I was at Phoenix Fan Fusion. I might be posting about that here in a little bit, but point being, that was a lot of fun. That kind of took over the weekend that Predator, Killer of Killers came out. So, once again, Predator, Killer of Killers. Now, essentially, this boils down to 4 total stories. 3 of them are basically individual stories about, cunning warriors, or if not lucky warriors and fighters, going up against predators or Yautja, right? Now, the story is broken down, like I said, into those 4 parts, with the 4th being the culmination, right, where it puts everybody together. Spoiler alert right there, right? But let's get into it. First things first, we have the story known as Shield about Ursa. She's a shield maiden out for revenge, right? Her and her little hunting, or Viking party. Doesn't say hunting party, but Yautja, predators, hunting, Vikings, whatever. And she's going in. She's all hands with shields and blades and all that good stuff. And I'm digging it. Right? She's clearly out trying to get revenge because the guy she's hunting after made her kill her own dad. Right? Pretty hardcore right there. Anyways, as she finally gets her revenge. A massive predator shows up who's literally just looking to throw hands with everybody because he is unarmored, and the dude would give a space marine a chance to blush at the look of him. Not that I think he'd be able to beat one, but you understand what I'm talking about. Dude's huge, right? And he's only really got a power fist as a weapon besides his mask. And from there, you know what? He annihilates the whole party with the exception of Ursa. Ursa gets to outsmart him, leads him to to a frozen lake where she not only gets him under the water, but she kills him with his own weapon. I'll let you guys see how that works out because you know what? You gotta go watch the movie to get all the good parts. Anyways, moving on. My favorite story, The Sword, where we have Shinobi Kenji, right? And his brother Kiyoshi, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, it starts off, they're brothers. And they're like, oh, cool, man, we're brothers, we're always going to be together, kind of, And then Dad shows up, and Dad's clearly the shogunate. And he's like, yo, y'all two need to fight for my favor and my love, basically. He doesn't actually say any of those things. It's actually probably the most silent of, any of the stories because they actually only speak, I think, 3 lines in the entire 20 minutes of The Sword. Anyways, so they fight each other, or it's more like Kenji's brother attacks him, beats his ass. Kenji runs away, and his brother gets to be the favorite. He becomes the next shogun, right? Many years later, Kenji comes back. He's a shinobi. He's like, yo, I'm gonna get my vengeance. I'm gonna square up. So he sneaks into the castle, goes toe to toe with his brother. As soon as he thinks his brother is out of the picture, Predator attacks. Now this one, he is a lot more, not tech reliant, but he's a lot more savvy with his technology. He got a lot more weaponry, and definitely a lot more skill, right? He's not a hulking berserker of sorts. Kenji's just doing his best to hold on, right? Because this thing is killing everything in his path. And at some point, when he thinks he's finally gotten away from the Predator, he's like, okay, I'm good. And then his brother happened to survive his little attack, his little insurrection. And then the Predator shows back up. And then you know what? They have to go team duos, baby, on the Predator, right? Obviously, the brother doesn't make it. And then we move on, right? The last one, The Bullet, about a young pilot who was drafted into World War II named Torres, right? Torres is basically, after he's drafted, he's basically fixing up a plane. He's like, I want to fly, blah, blah, blah. He's like, that's my whole purpose. And then a group of pilots crash land back on the carrier. They're like, yo, we got attacked by this massive thing. We don't know what it is. And then Torres finds like a piece of the Predator technology. He's fiddling with it, and he realizes, the group of guys that just flew out to go take this thing out is no match. So he flies up to try and warn them, and ensues, in all honesty, like I think the wildest David and Goliath story of the entire 3 individual stories, because it's like it's a prop propeller plane, it's a World War II plane against a Predator spaceship, and he, again, cunning is usually what wins out for the humans versus predators, right? That's usually how it is. Predators usually get a little too, cocky, a little big for their britches, and they overstep or they overreach, and that's when the humans manage to win the day. That's basically what happens here. I'm not going to go too much detail with that, because I just found it kind of wild and ridiculous, because it's like, you could have just shot him down, but you know what? Bob's your uncle. There you go. Now, the last portion, right? It turns out all 3 of these individuals have been put in stasis and have been reawoken specifically so that they can fight a Predator clan leader or king. I don't know if he's the king, but he's clearly a leader, because he comes out and says, hey, you 3 from you different eras, right? They all have collars on them that are like translating, and I'll mention why I think that's kind of funny later, but it translates into their native languages, because mind you, they're all from different eras in time, different cultures, blah blah blah. It says like, you guys have to kill each other, and then the winner gets to fight me, and I get the honor of killing you, right? Dude's like totally like about the action. Now the 3 are also given weapons of their culture, right? Kenji's given a katana, Ursa's given an axe, and then Torres is given the pistol, the 1779 pistol, I believe, the flintlock pistol that was seen in Predator 2, as well as the End of Prey. And something weird happened out there. But anyways, he's like, I don't actually know how to use this thing, but we're gonna make do. So anyways, they start out fighting. Eventually they realize, we got to team up, which is kind of difficult, considering even though like the head Predator dude like translated their languages for them so that they all understood, they still can't understand each other. It's not like in Mass Effect where everyone's just holding, like, has a translator on them and they can just understand each other. So they're like kind of talking at each other, and there's really nothing going on. They're just kind of like being fed small context clues here and there, and for me it doesn't really make sense, but we'll move on from there. Anyways, they eventually realize they got to team up. Torres manages to get like a vehicle going, and they all hop on. They try and take out the clan leader. They hop on the ship. They're trying to leave. They're held down. Ursa's like, I'm going to make the ultimate sacrifice, and I'm going to help them get away. She does that. The boys get away, and then she's like, this is where it's weird, because mind you, they haven't had like an intense, like deep conversation at all. They've actually not spoken a word to each other that they could really understand, with the exception of Torres like speaking a slight bit of Japanese. And she's like, oh, after my sacrifice, my boys will now escape. And in a way that makes it sound like, oh, them's were her homies, them's were her boys, like she was protecting them. There's a little more than that, but realistically, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because it's like, you guys couldn't even really talk, and now you're like treating them like the homies, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense to me. But all that aside, I didn't like the story. At least I didn't. That is very broad in general. I didn't like how it ended. I thought the individual stories specifically were fine, right? Shield and sword, perfect. I loved sword, but also I'm from Japan. I'm going to be a little biased towards my Japanese homies, right? Bullet was meh. Again, it's a propeller plane versus a spaceship. You're really telling me that was going to work out for somebody other than the Predator? That doesn't make sense. And then the culmination, again, I just felt like if they would have made it make a little, if they made it make, you guys know what I mean. If it made a little bit more sense, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But that's that. Story-wise, I got to give it a 6, right? Solid 6, maybe even a 5.5. Enjoyable? Yes. Makes sense? Great writing? Can't say that it is, right? Now, moving on, right? Because that was a solid 5.5 to 6 on the story. I will say, on the visuals, the animation, the action, the character design, my guys and gals and everybody in between, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much. Oh my god, it was beautiful, amazing, incredible. Right, beautiful animation. Me and the wife were calling it like Into the Spider-Verse type animation, where it's like a little bit of stop motion, a little bit of 3D animation. It's very stylized. Every Predator was very uniquely designed. Everybody looked fantastic. The environments looked great. You know, the visceral action was fantastic. It didn't look wonky. It didn't look weird. It looked like how Predators would fight, how ninjas, Vikings would fight. And that means, for me, as someone who's been in the ring, who's fought and watched fights and understands how fighting works, like, it is fantastic to see. And I got to give them props on that. I'm going to give the visuals a solid 9 out of 10, right? 9 out of 10 on the visuals. Now, last thing, sound design. Now, I was watching this with my wife, and if anybody who knows me and my wife, we love to talk movies in the middle of movies. Not in movie theaters, obviously, unless we're like talking amongst each other very silently, just like this, where nobody else can hear us. But anyways, one thing I noticed was like, the sound design was a little meh, right? I was hoping to hear a little bit more of the legendary and iconic Predator theme, and if I heard it, I definitely skipped over it, mostly because it could have been because I was talking with a wife. I'll be completely honest there, right? But I felt like the sound design, for the most part, the orchestral score, it just wasn't there for me, right? It didn't give me any of those feelings. Like, if I watch Predator and Predator 2, like, I hear the thumping of the drums and then the classic Predator music, and I'm just like, oh my god, he's about to show up and he's gonna spear somebody through the chest. I didn't get that here. I knew it was coming. I felt it coming, but it wasn't, at least the music didn't make me feel that. It was because I know better. I was like, oh, okay, like, this is generally what's going to happen in a Predator movie. So I will personally give this one, and this one is with an asterisk. I'll put with an asterisk so that you guys know, because I do talk during movies with my wife about, sound design, all this type stuff, because that's just who we are. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10, right? Overall, it felt a little more bland sound design wise, right? As a whole, you put all that together, for me, it was maybe a 6.5, maybe a 7. Depends on the day. I'll definitely watch it again, right? And I was telling the wife this earlier. It's usually because if I enjoy a movie, no matter how bad the story is, no matter how bad anything is, if I enjoy it, if I have a good time watching it, I'm gonna watch it again, because if I enjoy it, that's the biggest thing. Was I entertained? Did I enjoy it? Yes? Okay. Throw it on the replay roster and we'll go from there, right? So I put a lot of props on that. Plus, again, the visual design, fantastic. So I'm going to give it a solid 6.5 to 7 out of 10, right? Definitely would watch again, but is definitely, in my opinion, not the best Predator media put out there, right? Comic books, movies, video games, whatever. Definitely not the best, definitely not the worst. But once again, that's just what I think, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you not like certain parts? Do you think I'm stupid? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Jiraiya, out.